Hello everybody, this is IndieGeek, and today I'm taking a look at The Last Federation by Arcen Games. It should be available on Steam as I speak, and it will be $20. And of course, as always, I will link in the description at least to the Steam page. I might also link to their main web page because it is releasing on GOG and Humble and basically everything. And I believe also there will be a slight discount for the opening week, so, if you are checking this out in the week that the game goes live, do definitely go check it out immediately so that you could potentially save yourself a few bucks. But, on with the game. Alright, this is I'm really excited about this game. I don't even know where to start talking about it because it's got so many things going on. So I think I'm just going to quick start in here. I have things set to easy because I'm still really bad. And in a weird way, it kind of plays out like a long-term sort of roguelike. So, we've got our story here. I am the last of the murdered race of Hydrals. My countrymen were the dictators of the solar system, so we kind of had it coming. Yes, that is me above, and you are me. This is our story. So there's kind of a bit of joking sort of tone to the story, and I like that. I was the sole survivor thanks to a renegade mission I undertook, betraying my race to bring spacefaring technology to our potential rivals. My ultimate goal? The creation of a peaceful, united federation of planets. Only then can we be safe from the kinds of atrocities my race committed and the kinds that were committed against us. Naturally, upon my crash landing at this planet, I was placed in captivity. Having no concept of my strength, they did not realize that I was merely waiting. I waited for years. Stardate, first 1 Proto 3000. My dream of a universal federation is as alive as ever, and now the Arcens have finally gotten themselves into orbit. After spending so much time with me as a peaceful captive, they were ill-prepared for my escape. I have commandeered their first prototype executor, and now the Arcens are in hot pursuit. The Arcens are still in the process of ramping up their space industry, so that gives me a short window of opportunity, but soon the mechanical CEOs will be looking to make planetary acquisitions. These dangerous, amoral robots destroyed the last remnants of my race after the Evox almost wiped us out. Having them as my enemy was a given, I think. Here they come. I outclassed the force so severely that it would be almost impossible to lose, so now is a good time to put my ship through its paces, but I still have to be careful. If they manage to take out my ship, I will be just as dead now as later. Alright, so here is the combat. And the way this works is it's kind of a grand strategy game that is turn-based in space, on sort of a small scale in battle and a large scale. It sounds so weird to say. The problem is, nothing else is quite like this game, and I like that. So, if you click on a ship, if you look in the bottom left, it will actually give you the DPS of each of your weapons. So what I'm going to do is click on my energy blaster. We've got 4 types of firing, and I'm not going to go too much into tutorializing the game because the game does a really good job of tutorializing for you. So I'm just going to sort of play here a bit and kind of talk about main points and leave the actual tutorial for you if you decide to purchase the game. In the top left, of course, I have my health as well as my shields. Shields will recharge, of course, so you want to be careful to make sure that you've always got some shields going on, and that if your shields are low, that you're kind of getting out of the way of things. And then at the very top, we've got our objectives up here. So it says destroy all flagships, and I guess it does show a little bit of a mouse cursor. So up here you can see, if you just kind of follow where my mouse cursor is, if you can see it, it says destroy all flagships, or I can dock with the survey platform, which is over here. So a lot of these missions will have peaceful alternatives if you want to take them. And sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. It all depends on how outclassed you are, things like that. So this is a good overview of what the combat actually looks like. And then we get our sort of overview of what happened. So by doing that, We gained 1,200 credit by destroying enemy ships. We lost 2 influence with the Acutians, and we rescued 12 Acutian pilots. Didn't kill any. Perfect. Alright. So, yes. So that is not super important right now. So this is kind of where I'm getting the grand strategy part of this. We have these 8 planets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, as we mentioned in the beginning, and we can look at each of them and see, so like this is our influence with each one, this is how compatible they are with us, and then this is how long in game until they are going to be spacefaring. So that's what's going on. There's a lot to look at here, so I'm going to just give sort of a brief overview. You can go into your logbook to get basically everything, all of your tutorial messages, things like that. We can do detailed intel, we can do basic info. We can look at the racial power grid, race relations, and our computer advisor, which will kind of help us out. And then we can look at details of the planet we're on. We can look at the friendly acts and hostile acts of the planet we're on, or we can talk to Acutian CEOs. But I may try and... Alright, so I actually can't take these missions yet, I don't think. There's definitely something I had to do last time. I'm just not exactly remembering what it is I have to do. Oh, some of them you can just take, other ones you can't. Okay, so this is another kind of mission. So in this one we have to deliver technical documents to right there. So this is a very different kind of mission, because clearly we are not going to be fighting everything. That would be silly. Just be absolutely silly. You'd just get destroyed. So I'm just going to sort of take my turns, and you can see the turn count in the top left. And I'm going to sort of make my way over here, kind of avoiding some stuff, and then now that we are here, I'm letting the auto fire go. I'm not planning on killing much, and I am just heading straight in. Boom, just like that. So that's kind of an easy way to get things done. So that is what we're doing there. And then really from here the game really opens up. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to save here just because I'll just call this let's look at save, because it does sort of work like a roguelike. I'm just going to skip through this, sorry, because if you die it totally starts over. So you definitely want to hopefully not die, I guess I should say. But you know, it happens, and it's part of the reason that I'm playing on easy for everything right now, because I started on normal and I died in the very first mission. Something to realize, of course, this is not...
Their benevolent nature may make them a source of help.
Yeah, I'm just going through all that. I've read it all. That's just like about our tech progress stuff, which we can go look at. I'm not going to get too much into this here. I should say there's definitely the potential of me doing a series on this at some point, because I am having a very good time. And as you can see, things get like, this is definitely where the strategy part comes in. So there are tons and tons of potential like strategies here that you can make that kind of go past just the missions, of course. Which, you know, that's a good thing, I think.
The Thoraxians are now spacefaring. Searching dictionary for a phrase more urgent than extreme danger.
So let's see. Maybe I should head to another planet.
Is today's advisor.
Do some do something nice here. And again, this kind of like delivering the tech is pretty common mission. And I think it's one that you can do with basically every race. And I mean, it's nice because it gives you a lot of credits and it's pretty quick and easy. Yeah, this is definitely a game that I could see myself putting a ton of time into and potentially let's playing on the channel. So now we've got the black market open to us.
They may be easy allies to win over.
And the thing to remember is that I don't think there's ever a way to please everyone. So, like, we may be able to make some people happy with us, but by making someone happy with us, someone else might become unhappy with us. And that's somewhat common here in what's going to happen. Sorry I'm doing this mission so much, but this is kind of one of the standard starting missions for each planet, just because this is sort of one of the only things that each planet will let you do at the beginning, and it pretty quickly allows you to gain some credit as well as some influence with different planets. Right, so these are special abilities that we now have to use during combat, which are extremely helpful. So you can see, yeah, I may have gained influence with them, but look at how much influence I lost with a whole bunch of other races. So that was, you know, maybe not the greatest thing to do. But if I were to go here, now I can, like, maybe we'll try help destroy the pirate base. And we'll do that. So now we're actually fighting with some allies, which definitely changes things. It makes the way we play quite a bit different. Alright, and I need to click on someone, and right, I need to remember that the hotkey for that is G. There are some nice hotkeys like target everyone in range, which is always a good one. So then you will shoot at everyone in the range. Let's see, so I'm going to use the energy blaster. That'll do me some good, and then I'll probably show off using one of our newfound powers. But as far as the rest of what's going on here, there isn't actually a whole lot more to go over. It's, you know, it's good. That's why I'm not really like talking about specifics that much, because it is really good. I'm having an awesome time with this game, and I'm definitely going to be playing a lot more of it in the coming weeks and potentially months. Right. Yep, so we can control on the top left. You now see that there are 3 bars. We can kind of control which parts of our ship we are powering up in sort of like almost similar to FTL kind of fashion. And that is something that I should mention. I get a lot of sort of FTL vibe in a weird way from the combat here. It's kind of like FTL on a large scale, like fighting a bunch of ships at once. So here I will use I'll do this. So that like deployed a bunch of helper ships for me. And then the other thing to remember about all of these power-ups down here is that each one will produce like a shield sort of that spreads around you that will destroy all of the nearby bullets. So they are actually incredibly useful. But yeah, I mean, the nice thing is a lot of these beginning missions are pretty easy to go through, so you can get pretty far, especially if you're playing on easy, of course, before you really need to start being worried about stuff. Alright. So now I'm I'm moving over here. And I want to go for this, and let's see. The energy blaster is my best option here. And this should win me the mission. As soon as I take it out. Yep, so that won me a mission there. This is just explaining more of the data, so there are, there's definitely a lot of numbers, and I've kind of run through a lot of stuff really fast here. So, if you're going to pick up this game, and I suggest you do if you are, if you're a fan of things like this, if you are a fan of, like strategy games, stuff like that, I definitely suggest that you pick this up. I will say, like, it's absolutely unique. I've never really seen anything like this. And, that's a really good thing. It really helps kind of set it apart from other things. But there isn't really much else for me to say. I'm having a great time with it. I think the art, I think it looks great. I think it sounds great. And like I said, there really isn't that much for me to say otherwise. Like I said, I highly recommend this one. I think it's excellent. I think this is going to be a game that a lot of people really get into. And I haven't played any of the other games by Arcen Games, but I know that I've read up a little bit on them, and I know that they have a very, very good reputation in terms of like customer support and like taking feedback, stuff like that. So they definitely have the reputation of continuing to support the games long after release. So I would expect the same thing here. For $20, I feel like this is kind of a steal. I think I'm going to get many, many, many hours out of this. And if you're in strategy games, like I said, I think you will too. I think this mission may be my downfall. I'm not doing too hot. Maybe we'll end here with me dying. Oh, yep, there it is. So, that's the end. But that's okay. Of course, you can save at any point, so you can actually go back in. But like I said, if you don't save it, it works kind of like an Iron Man style roguelike. And there's also an advanced start, which I should show off real quickly, where you can actually like crash land at different planets and start at different years, and you can do Iron Man mode, stuff like that. So, there's a ton of content here. Definitely a lot of stuff to do. Like I said, highly recommended. I really suggest you check this one out. Check the links below. Go give it a buy. And, have fun. So, with that being said, of course, as always, feel free to comment if there's anything that you'd like to comment on. Subscribe to the channel to see more of my videos every single day. And if you liked my look at The Last Federation, then please do consider clicking the like button, because that helps me out a lot, and I definitely appreciate everything you do to help. So, with all of that being said, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.